गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। We'll chant Mrityunjay mantra for 11 times and then we'll begin. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamritaat. 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 Just sit quietly for a moment. So we are looking at the Sanat Sujatiya text, and it is a dialogue between Dhritarashtra and Sanat Kumaras, Sanat Sujata ji, here it says. And yesterday we saw the introduction, and then Dhritarashtra is asking the question that Sanat Sujata yadidam shrunomi mrityurhi nasti iti tavopadesham Devasura acharan brahmacharyam amrutya vetat katarannu satyam. O Sanat Sujata, Dhritarashtra is asking, I heard about your doctrine that there is no death at all. He understood why there is no death. What were the 3 points? Atma does not die. It is eternal. Soul, it does not die because it keeps taking rebirth. And body does not die because it only unmanifests and manifests. So it goes back to the 5 elements, and 5 elements again come back together to make some other body. So where is death? There is no death. That is the crux of it. So he is asking, you made the doctrine that there is no death at all. We also hear that the Devatas and Asuras practice celibacy for attainment of immortality. Which is the truth between the two? See, we told you last week, little bit, last class we told you what is Asura and what is the Devas. So, Asuras are those who are continuously desiring something, whereas Devas are those who are continuously evolving themselves. Asuras in their lifetime, from birth till death, are unable to give up body identification. And as a result, they are unable to give up attachment to their relations and possessions. Whereas Devas, they are able to give up body identification and therefore they become immortal. Asuras cannot become immortal. And how do they evolve themselves? Because they are able, they were also born like Asuras also. They were also born from Diti. Asuras were born from Diti, and Devatas were born from Aditi. Both were normal, but one attained immortality because of their commitment to evolution. And that evolution is, we told you in our last class, that as a human being, this is the window of opportunity to recognize, realize, discover that you are the Atma, you are the Paramatma, you are the Brahman, and not get carried away in anything else. And with that, Shri Sanat Sujata Uvacha Amritya Karmana Kechit Mrityur Nastiti Chapare Shrunu Me Bruvato Rajan Yathaitanma Vishankithaha. Shri Sanat Sujata ji says, O king, some people believe that karma is the path for immortality, while others believe that there is no death at all. What exactly is the truth? I shall explain to you. Listen, do not entertain any doubt about this. Who are Sanat Kumaras? They are Brahma's mind-born sons. But what is their other speciality? They have direct entry into Vaikuntha. If we take Narayana as the Ishvara, then they have direct entry everywhere. So they are that type of caliber. See, first Sanat Kumaras were born, then Narad Muni was born. Then Daksha Prajapati, and then eventually Manu and Rishis, and then Manu and Shatarupa. So what happened to Sanat Kumaras? They didn't even want to grow up. They had heard the Om chanting of their father. Who is their father? Brahmaji. So he was chanting Om continuously and doing tapasya. So first child born out of tapasya were these 4. And they become, and they have heard the story, they become dedicated to the Ishvara. So they don't want to grow up, they don't want to get, creation is meant for expansion. But here these fellows were born, they don't want to expand anymore. Then Narad Muni was born, and his teachers were Sanat Kumaras, and he says, Acha, he went and collected all the knowledge, 64 Vidyas. Then he says, I still feel I am empty from inside. Then he didn't say that. He was feeling that there is something incomplete that he has not achieved. Even after studying 64 knowledges, he felt incomplete. So the moment he felt incomplete, the Sanat Kumaras came. They say, no, we know why you are feeling this. Because you have not fallen in love. How do I fall in love? Om Namo Narayana. You do this japa, you will fall in love. And once he falls in love, he also does not expand the creation. He becomes brahmachari. Then after that, the children, first the rishis were born, and then the Daksha and others. So here, when he's talking about that, this question of, here he will tell afterwards, some people believe that karma is the path of immortality. Who are these people who believe that karma is the path of immortality? Think. Karma is done by whom? The doer. Last week we talked about. The karma is done by doer. If there is no doer, what is the karma? What is karma called? If there is no doer, what is the karma called? Kriya. Activity. Activity with ahankar is called as karma. Activity with doer, karta. Karya with karta is called as karma. Karma without karta is called as karya. Karma also gives you karma phala. Kriya also gives you kriya phala. But kriya phala is not binding. Karma phala is binding. Because karma phala leaves an impression in your mind. Kriya phala does not leave an impression in your mind. Just now this movement happened. Now it will go as a memory. I gave this example. But when it was happening, there was no doership involved in my movement of hand. Activity was going on. There is no doership involved in breathing, but activity is going on. What is the result of this activity? The life is continuing. See? So, understand. Karta plus kriya gives you karma. Karma without karta is equal to kriya. Kriya phala is not binding, no more future rebirths. Karma phala is binding, future rebirth, future bodies. Simple equation. Why? Because this idiot is there called ahankar. This is not that ahankar which Lord created. This is ahankar which we have created because of our identifications that I am doing the lecture, I am going for the Kailash Yatra, I am not well, I am going to fix myself, I am going to, will I be able to do it or will I not be able to do it? All these are due to the ego. Get out of it. Leave it to him. Keep chanting the name of the Lord and nothing else. Rest, everything let him take care. So we are, with this little bit clarification here, what exactly is the truth? Sanat Sujata ji is saying, I shall explain to you, listen. And whatever I am telling you, do not entertain any doubt about it, because this is coming from the authority of the Vedas. Ubhe satye kshatriyadya pravrutte moho mrityu sammato yah kavinam pramadam vai mrityumaham bravimi sada pramadam amrutatvam bravimi. O king, these two lines of thinking are true indeed, which are accepted right from the beginning of the creation. When did creation begin? Anyone knows? You will say when Brahmaji started the creation. Where did Brahmaji? Manu? No. Brahmaji is the creator. But where did Brahmaji come from? From the navel of Narayana. Where did Narayana come from? If you are Shaivite, you will say Narayana does not come from anywhere. If you are Shaivite, they will say he was born through Lord Shiva. So we will not get into that. But where did, if we take Narayana as the Ishvara, where did Narayana come? No, he is beginningless, unborn, birthless. So, yeah, from that time, this question that karma, these two lines of thinking are true, which are accepted right from the beginning of the creation. However, the wise accept that in fact delusion is death indeed. So he is not talking about death is sin, death is if you don't do your duty towards parents, death is if you don't pray to the gods in the temple, death is if you don't study the scriptures, death is if you kill a Brahmin, death is kill so many different things. That is not death. Here, what is he saying? Delusion is equal to death. Delusion means what now? That is the question. So there are two words, delusion and illusion. So what is delusion? Good. Very, very nicely put. Different words. I have never used those words. In what way you are cheating yourself?
Believing in
Thinking that is existing.
Huh?
Or believing in something that actually is not there.
Okay. I will say it the other way. Not believing in what is there and accepting what is not there. Almost there, but flip it around. Delusion means, another easy way of understanding it is, delusion is forgetfulness of the infinite, is delusion. Delusion means non-apprehension of the reality. And what is illusion? Delusion gives birth to illusion. And what is illusion? When you don't know what is the reality, then you project the multiplicity. When you forget that you are a man, then you project what? Husband, father, son, uncle, etc. And then you get identified with those roles and continue remaining oblivious that you are man first or woman first. You take those non-existent roles to be real, but the real person to be non-existent. Understanding what I am saying? Same way, we are forgetting that which is constant, that is the eternal Brahman, reality, and we are taking everything that is coming into creation and going out of creation as real, and thus deluding ourselves. And that is the point. And that word here is called pramad. Pramad means inadvertence. Inadvertence means continuing to repeat the same mistake again and again and again. And what is that mistake? Forgetting the reality and taking the non-reality to be real. This is the mistake we are making. And even after we listen to a satsang or we read books, at that moment, a lot of you are nodding. Means it's clicking. Logically, it's yes, correct. But the moment we go out, satsang is over, Purnamala. Back to the same. And this is called pramad. So, tamas. Tamas means inertia. It expresses in three ways. Nidra, alasya. Nidra means sleep. Alasya means laziness, procrastination. And third is pramad, repeating the same mistake again and again and again and again. हमको बचपन में कितने थप्पड़ पड़े, 2 1 2, 2 2 4, 2 3 था, तब तक by the time you count थप्पड़ आ जाता था. Pramad. So here he says, however, the wise accept that in fact delusion is death indeed. However, I declare that inadvertence, pramad, is death, and absence of inadvertence is immortality. So Sanat Sujata ji is saying, death is not any object, death is not any person, death is not some being, death is not ek Hawa bana dete na. Oh my God, death is approaching. Yamaraj is coming on the bull, and I think, oh, kya ho raha hai? Oh, my heart is, I can't breathe. I think death is coming. You will feel many times here when we go out. So that's why the topic. Not joking. You will feel when you are walking towards the Charan Sparsh. First climb itself, you will start feeling. When you come out of the dormitory and you take 10 steps, oh, kya hoga? I have to walk 5.5 kilometers. This I have walked only 10 steps. But where only thing, उस समय ये कुछ नहीं सोचना. That time you have to think of Om Namah Shivaya and cross the barriers that are coming in your journey. And this is one of the barriers, and that is absence of inadvertence, absence of repetitive mistake that I was born and I'm going to die, that I am not eternal. This is the mistake that we are making again and again and again and again. Now afterwards they will give you reasons why you are making that mistake, where you are going wrong. Everything will be told by Sanat Sujata ji. But this is the main reason. Pramad, here he says, pramad means being unaware of one's divine nature. Same thing what we just said. Divine nature, Atma, divine nature, your self as eternal, your self as birthless, self as deathless. Huh? Continuing in the next verse, 5th verse. Pramadadva asura para bhavanna pramadad brahma bhuta asura surascha. No, I'll repeat it again. I made a mistake. Pramadadva asura para bhavanna apramadad brahma bhuta surascha na vai mrityur vyagra ivati jantun napyasya rupam upalabhyatehi. Being unaware of their divine nature, the asuras were defeated, and being not identified with the body, the gods attained immortality. क्या हो गया? ठीक है? And being not identified with the body, the gods attained immortality. Death does not eat mortals like a tiger, nor can one ever see any particular form of death. Now here 2-3 points are there. First point is being unaware of their divine nature. If we are unaware of our divine nature, we will die as an asura. नेक्स्ट कुंडली लाइफ में जो आएगी, नेक्स्ट बर्थ में, उसमें आएगा. कल हम क्या बोल रहे थे यार, क्या गण बोलते हैं कि क्या बोलते हैं, राक्षस गण एंड देवगण. तो राक्षस गण आ जाएगा उसमें. ठीक है. Why? We did not do anything to evolve. We died identified with body. Who dies identified with body? The one who is not focused on the divine and who has lot of ahankar. And that ahankar is because I am this body and everything I am doing in my life. I have become someone from nothing to today who I am. So the asuras were defeated. This is the language of the asuras. I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it. Whereas, can we stop doing in life? Can we stop talking? Can we stop eating? Can we stop walking? Can we stop holding? Activity is going to go on. But is that activity helping you to go beyond body identification? That is important. You understand? So when you do puja or chanting or japa, are you doing to count how many japas you have done? Are you doing puja because you are identified with the act of puja and feel guilty if you don't complete it? Why? Because while doing puja, the meditation happened and you left the puja halfway. होता है कभी कभी. The pull comes from inside, but you force yourself not to go in. Some people, I'm not talking about you. You don't force yourself not to go in. You want to continue completing the puja because the guilt is there. What if how can I leave the puja? But that puja was the means for you to dive into yourself, into the divine. But you forgot that. You got caught up in the act itself. Devas don't make that mistake. They do the act. They are also acting. They are also performing actions. But their attention is on the divine. And many times they forget also. But that point is not brought here. The only point that is brought here is that when they do remember the Lord or when they are doing their activities, they do it with so in the here and now that they forget that they are the body at least one part of the equation they have conquered, which is I am not the body. Merging into the divine is the second part. That is only possible through human birth. Devatas cannot do that. Second point, that is, and because they were able to be body disidentified in the remembrance of the divine, therefore they attained immortality. And this is not eternal moksha, it is relative immortality. As long as this creation is going on, the devatas are not going to die. Just like Indra, we know in the next cycle of creation, Bali is going to be the next Indra. So what will happen to this Indra? he will become unmanifest. So that part is clear. Death does not eat mortals. Has anyone seen death any time? But everyone is afraid of death. Everyone is at death. So here what, again, when he says death does not eat mortals like a tiger, nor can one ever see any particular form of death. So like a tiger eats its prey, does death eat a human being like its prey? Have you experienced it? No. Has any person who is dying experienced it? Can you see someone coming and eating it? Oh, I have seen people, they are lying in the deathbed and their toes become cold, then their ankles become cold, and within few minutes the body becomes cold. Body is becoming cold because body is not able to express life. Is that equal to death? You have given it a name, death. But you can't see it. According to our scriptures, there is no death, there is only manifestation and unmanifestation of the body. Continuing in the next verse, Yamam tveke mrityumatonyamahu atma vasam amritam brahmacharyam pitruloke rajyamanushasti devaha shiva shivanam ashivo ashivanam. Yet some other people call Lord Yama as death, who is in fact immortal, abiding in his essential nature, who rules over the world of mains, Pitruloka, and is the God who dispenses joys to those who have meritorious conducts and punishes those who have sinful life. Now, if you read Kathopanishad, in Kathopanishad the story is about Nachiketa. And this Nachiketa is an 8-year-old who has been his father is giving away in dan everything. In those days it used to be like that. All the cows, all the wealth. And he says, Lord will give. And this 8-year-old child sees that the father is keeping all the young calves and cows for him, which are milking, and all the old ones with gold horns he is giving away. He goes and pulls dad's dhuti. He says, Dad. He can't say, Dad, you are doing wrong. He says, Dad, whom will you give me? Once, twice, thrice, third time the father says, out of irritation, go, I give you to death. And his father was his guru, and his father was his natural parent also. So he says, if my father and who is my guru also has told me that I give you to death, his shabd cannot be false. He must know that I know a way to go to death. So he finds a way to go to death. And he waits there. And 3 days and 3 nights he is waiting, and Yamaraj comes. He says, who is this fellow waiting outside my gate? So the Chitragupta says, he is not supposed to come, but he has come. 3 days. He says, oh, call him. And he is a Brahmin boy. Oh, okay, call him. He says, Beta, I'll give you 3 boons. And that Nachiketa, he asks that I want to know that which is beyond dharma and adharma. He says, no, first boon he asks that when by your blessings I go back to earth, my parents should recognize me the way I left them. And they should not feel guilty about anything. Because by the time you go to death and go back, thousands of human years have passed. So he said, they should recognize me. Second, boon. He says, what is by doing which I can realize that which is beyond dharma and adharma? He says, Vaishnava, and before answering, he says, Dharmaraj says that I will give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you wealth, I'll give you apsaras, you can enjoy, I'll give you long life, you will not die, you will be the whole soul ruler of the planet. He says, does that give me the knowledge of that which is beyond dharma and adharma? He says, no. Then he gives him the Om mantra, and he says this is it generates the Vaishwanara Agni. But that Vaishwanara Agni is from today onwards called as Nachiket Agni. Gives him the blessing. And that time Yamraj accepts. He says, I was also a 7-year-old boy like you, and I was doing lot of havan, lot of puja, lot of karma kand, and I wanted to conquer death. And when eventually the Lord came and blessed me, I told him, like Dhruv, we know, he said, you know what I want. He says, the Lord said, you started the tapasya, the puja, the havan, the practices with the intention of being the master of death, the Lord of death. Is that what you want? He says, you know, sir. He made him Yamraj. Yamraj is immortal. He knows the knowledge of the truth, but he cannot merge into the truth. He cannot merge into the truth. He was also a human being once, but he cannot attain nirvana, if you want to use that word. And he is in awe of Nachiket, that this young boy is not getting distracted by anything. And I went and wanted, hope I had the same intelligence and clarity like you have, Nachiket. So here he is saying that this Lord Yama as death, who is in fact immortal, abiding in his essential nature, but is locked in position. His position is Lord of death. Are you locked into any position? I am asking seriously. Are you locked into any position? You are looking at me like, you are locked into position. What is that? So you are locked into that position.
On that basis, you want to say I'm locked into that.
Yes. Similarly, Yamraj was also locked into position. Brahmaji is also locked into position. Vishnu, I'm not talking Narayana. Vishnu is also locked in position. Shiva is also locked in position. I'm not talking about Ishvara Shiva. I'm talking about the Trinity as a destroyer. They cannot exchange positions. So here he is locked into position, and he has to continue doing the jobs that he has to do. Just like you have to continue doing the jobs that you have to do, which is taking care of your family, getting ready for the yatra, etc., etc. But while this is going on, Yamraj remembers the truth. Do you remember the truth? When you wake up, do you remember you are eternal? When you are walking, will you remember you are eternal? When you are eating, you chant Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havihi, but do you actually feel that it is the eternal eating the eternal? Or are you, oh, this is tasty, that is tasty? You can say all that, but inside the disposition only you know. In this manner, who rules over the world of mains? So Yamraj is the ruler of the Pitruloka and is the god, depending upon the people who do the karmas. If you have done meritorious deeds, you go to heaven. Those who have done or collected demerit points, they go to hell. What is hell and heaven? According to our scriptures, it is not some loka. Hell is, if you are being miserable in this life, it is hell. If you are you're joyful, and everything is available. Not only from your health is good, your wealth is unasked, it is coming, opportunities are coming, people love you, you love people, people respect you, you respect people, you are in heaven. Isn't it? And in the same world we find people, those who are absolutely, they may have wealth but no respect and reverence. Some people have respect and reverence but they are bhikari. See? So heaven is here, hell is here, God is also here, and realization is also here and now. It all depends how you orient your mind to it. So sin is, according to our scriptures or Upanishads, sin is forgetting your essential nature, and that's exactly what Sanat Kumaras are telling here. Continuing, Asyadesha nissarate naranam krodha pramado moha rupascha mrityuhu ahangate naiva charan vimargan nachatmano yogam upaiti kinchita. This death, pramad, delusion, forgetfulness, is born of the ego or desire and further modifies as anger. We know how does ego come about, or what is the, we told you that identification leads to the ahankar, but how does this happen? You know, in Gita chapter 2, you know that verse, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate संगात संजय क्या है? ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसः means whenever you think about something, संगस्तेषु उपजायते. The attachment for that particular object or thing or experience generates within you, and that results in desire. If desire is fulfilled, it leads to greed. If desire is not fulfilled, it leads to anger. And if it leads to greed, no person's greed can ever be satisfied. It also eventually leads to anger to anyone who's coming as an obstacle in between to satisfy their desire. So anger. So here he says that pramad and further modifies as anger. In this manner, pramad becomes ultimately delusion, because when anger comes, what does anger lead to? Anger leads to forgetfulness. Forgetfulness of what? Of what is right and wrong. And once you don't know what is right and wrong in life, that is the fall of man. And what is right and wrong? That you are eternal, that you are deathless, that you are in essence immortal. And what are you believing yourself to be? A mortal? You're believing that you are born, you're believing that one day you will die, and you believe in celebrating your death days. Not, you call them birthdays, but actually it is a death day, because every year that you celebrate is reducing your life. So where's the birthday? It's a death day. And we are lost into all this, because I don't know from where it came. It was not in our culture. This birthday business was not there. It came from the West, and we are just aping them. Therefore, this jiva, now it's talking about the soul, this jiva, soul, under the influence of ego, born out of incomplete knowledge, follows the wrong ways and can never attain oneness with his essential nature. Ego can never realize. The doer can never realize. I'll give you one example. The sleeper can never go to sleep. The waker can never go to sleep. The waker has to dissolve of all his attachments. Only then sleep begins. Correct? It's your everyday experience. Exactly the same way. If we want to recognize that we are the eternal one, this ego which is attached, this jiva which is attached to so many things, past, future, family, body, senses, mind, thoughts, convictions, gods, everything has to be dissolved. Only then we can become one. That will happen. We cannot become, it happens. just like sleep happens. So here he's saying, therefore this jiva, under the influence of ego, born out of complete knowledge, follows the wrong ways because he doesn't know it. He goes out, and what does he do? If his attention is on the body, he will go and do yoga. If his attention is on the breath, he will go and do pranayam. If his attention is on the mind, he will go and do Raja Yoga. If his attention is on the world, he will go and do, I want to do paropkar to the world. Arey, Bhagwan doesn't do paropkar to the world. Yes, Ramchandra ji came, went away. World continued to be the same. Krishna came, Mahabharata war happened, millions of people died. Again we are same. Even God cannot improve this world. This is a bitter pill to take, because from God's point of view, everything is Him alone. He doesn't see the differences. He sees the multiplicity as one. You see there is good and bad. You see there is, from space point of view, there is no north, south, east, west directions. You say that there are 8 directions or 10 directions. From woman's point of view or man's point of view, there are no roles. But the moment you take a position, immediately the roles begin. If there are no conditionings, if there is no wife, can you call yourself a husband? If there is no parents, will you call yourself a son? But then you become miserable. Why? Memory. Have memory of the Lord. And why you are not remembering the Lord and remembering the wife or the parents or the whoever you have lost? Because of attachment. You have not trained yourself to be attached to the God. You have trained yourself to be attached to that which is temporary, that which is finite. This is the mistake that we are all doing. So here he says, follow the wrong ways and such people, such jivas. He's not saying you, jivas. Jiva means consciousness identified with this body and saying I am this body. That is a jiva. Can never attain. Until unless it does not dissolve this identification, immortality is not possible. We'll stop here. 8th verse. So keep thinking about this as you go on the journey. Keep chanting Om Namah Shivaya, and every now and then any of these points, something will come to your mind, and I'll keep repeating it as we go ahead. And hopefully when we are at the feet of Kailash, at the Charan Sparsh, you are in the right frame of mind that everything is over. Over ka matlab ye, over does not mean that you will become a dysfunctional person afterwards. You will become a superhuman being afterwards. Everything will go on, but you will not forget who you are. And that is the disposition that we want. Like Dharmaraj. Kya hai? Dharmaraj. He is doing his job of sending souls to heaven and hell, but he has not forgotten that he is the self. The sun god, he knows, he gave the knowledge to Hanuman, he gave the knowledge to so many, but he does not forget that he is the infinite, but he keeps doing his job. Similarly, we have to also fall into that disposition where we keep doing what has to be done, and that actually is happening. Spend your energy in connecting with essential nature that you are. Om Purnamada Purnamedam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Harihi Om.